to Myrtle Beach in 2011. Left us for better pastures out in Greenville in 2017-18. Decided that wasn't the case and returned to Myrtle Beach in 2018. He's an emeritus referee since 2020. Was in the Air Force for 10 years. Currently, he's a mentor and a coach as of actually, that's the first class we had, I believe, last July. And he is the Director of Training and Development for the Grand Strand Soccer Referee Association, which is located in Myrtle Beach, which is where we are. I'm the director, high school director for District 6. And we just restarted the Grand Strand Soccer Referee Association. It's been defunct for probably about 10 years in name only we were, but now we're alive and well. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jack.
All right, so we'll go through. We're gonna go through with the restarts. Dr. Bob was kind enough to help me with some of this, so I'll give him some kudos and some credit with this, since I had a little bit on my plate this past couple of weeks trying to do 2 jobs. So the first one is we're going to go through the common elements of restart. All kicks, restarts, the ball must be stationary. You cannot kick a moving ball. I hope everybody knows that one. The ball is in play when the ball moves. How far is that? No, you can't just step on the ball and then go on and say that's good. It actually has to move from its spot. Opponent's distance from the ball for a kick is 10 yards, drop ball is 4 yards. In high school, they like the whistles, so please make sure we're doing whistles for kickoffs, penalty kicks, indirect free kicks, and the direct free kicks.
So no quick kicks.
You can do quick kicks.
But if you haven't blown the whistle,
The ball, when is the ball in play? Or when is the ball out of play? If they choose to do a quick start, they can do a quick start.
but you haven't blown the whistle.
Well, you can let them do a quick kick. That's in the rules.
Getting some conflicting information here, guys.
Your restarts, you got a penalty kick, a corner kick.
Listen, I don't mean to be a pain in the ass, but we should answer this question.
I just answered the question for you, Mike.
Okay.
Restarts in soccer are penalty kicks, corner kicks, kickoffs, indirect free kick, a direct free kick, a kick from the mark, a throw in, and a drop ball. True or false? Referee whistles to indicate the start of play, at which time the timekeeper starts the clock.
False.
When does the clock start?
And the ball's kicked.
When the ball is actually kicked. That's correct. The only time you're really going to run into that is if you get to the state championships and stuff, where our friendly neighborhood referee up in the stands keeps the clock. I don't know how many areas actually use the stadium clock for their official clock, and unless they're in the playoffs. Any Jack or Bucky, do you guys use that as the official clock during playoffs?
No, we do what the high school league suggests we do, which is let the referee keep the time on the field.
Okay, so it is just it would just be on the actual state championship where that's the clock. So I'm correct about that. So whoever said, yeah, they were correct. Kick cannot be taken by the attacking team until the referee gives a separate signal, the whistle, under the following circumstances. The attacking team requests a free kick by asking the referee, for a minimum distance to be enforced or to move the wall back. The referee or assistant referee with the referee's acknowledgement chooses to enforce the distance for game management purposes. Who has to ask for the 10 yards?
Kicker.
The person taking the kick. You can't have somebody that's just random, a coach yelling from the sideline to get 10 yards and all this stuff. The kicker taking the kick has to be the one asking for the 10 yards. If he's not asking for it and he
Doesn't
plays
this
it,
answer a question that was asked earlier about whistling a direct free kick? That's the difference between a ceremonial free kick and a quick restart from a foul by the attacking team. There's no whistle required for that. And the whistle then is required to restart when they ask for 10 or another type of ceremonial restart if you give a card or something and hold up the restart, right?
correct. Ceremonial free kicks can only be used when a red or yellow card is given for misconduct occurring prior to the restart. So if you give a card to a player, make sure that you tell whoever's going to be taking the kick, hold the ball for your whistle. We're not going to restart until after you're done writing and everything else. Hopefully you've stopped your clock for this so that you're not taking time off. So please make sure that you blow a whistle before you restart on this. Serious injury has occurred requiring the trainer to enter the field to attend but not treat the player, or on the field treatment of an injured goalkeeper. So if you stop play to have the goalkeeper looked at, does the goalkeeper have to come off the field?
Yep.
Anybody know?
Yes.
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 That's correct. If you stop the clock for any player on the field to be looked at, they must be subbed out, even if it's the goalkeeper. And you're going to catch a lot of crap about that. The attacking team requests that the minimum distance requirement be enforced. You have to mark it off. And the referee decides to slow down the tempo of the match for game control purposes, for able to have an extended formal conversation with a player. Make sure if you're going to talk to a player and you want everybody to know you're talking to them, give a little bit of an instructional whistle to the guy getting ready to take a kick and say, hey, we're gonna wait till I let you know to start playing. I'll give you a whistle. Florence player tripped in the Orangeburg penalty area as he was about to shoot on goal. He's injured and must leave the field to play. Florence substitute number 2 enters the field and takes the penalty kick and scores. Orangeburg proceeds with the kickoff. Is there an offense, and what's the responsibility of the referee?
The substitute cannot take the penalty.
Correct. So what do you do if you let them do it?
I would say you disallow the goal.
It depends if you whistled for the kickoff.
As long as you don't whistle for the kickoff.
Orangeburg proceeded with the kickoff already, so you already screwed it up and we're playing on, right?
Right.
Missed that one.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah, you've already kicked off and yeah,
Too late.
you messed that one up. Please make sure you know that one. Do not let a substitute. This will be more prevalent during game where the guy gets. Most of the time, they're not going to bring somebody on that's going to take the subs, but please be aware that you have to. He can't take the kick if he comes onto the field for the injured player. Substitutes for caution, injured or bleeding players may not take the penalty kick when entering the game. During a penalty kick, the score stands and a report detailing the incident is made. So make sure you tell everybody that you screwed up. Opposing players shall be 10 yards from the ball in all directions until the ball has been played. So the guy wants to fake that he's kicking it 15 times. Is he allowed to do that?
Say that again.
So the player getting ready to put the ball in play wants to fake that he's kicking it at the player 5 or 10 times. Unfortunately, he still can't come into that 10 yards until the ball's been played, but certainly can be unsporting behavior or a time wasting. Fort Mill has a direct free kick. Chapin defenders have set a 3-man wall, the correct 10 yards from the ball. Fort Mill player number 9 moves into the wall and refuses to move. What's the correct sanction for Fort Mill's number 9?
Yellow card.
Unsporting behavior.
So how far?
Tell him to move first.
I'm sorry?
Tell him to move first.
Absolutely. Explain. First thing you need to do is some of these, you're dealing with high school kids. They don't all know the rules as much as they think they do. Some of them don't understand anymore that if there is a 3-man wall or more, how far away does the opposing team have to be?
Yard.
1 yard from the wall.
That's right, 1 yard from the wall. That was the do away with all this pushing and shoving, trying to get inside the wall and stuff. So please make sure there are 3 men in the wall when you enforce this, though. If there's only 2 guys there, all bets are off.
Does anybody use the referee spray at this level?
I do.
So it's okay to bring it if you have it.
If you have it.
Have any of you seen a player lying down behind the wall? Like you
Not in
see-
high school.
Not in high school? Is it addressed in the rule book?
I don't think so.
As this one says, it says an official shall caution a player who fails to move the required distance away from the ball or the defensive wall when 3 or more defenders are in the wall. So if he decides he doesn't want to move, it is cautionable offense if he doesn't want to listen, but that's pretty normal in most situations. If they want to be knuckleheads and not listen, they take their fate in their own hands. Kickoff is start of plays. The referee signals with a whistle. At the moment of the kickoff, all players except the player taking the kickoff shall be in the team's half of the field. Players on the opposing team shall be 10 yards from the ball until it's kicked. The ball must be kicked and move. If taken improperly, the kick is retaken. Any questions about starting the game or starting a half or after a goal is scored?
What if you have 2 touches by the player kicking it off? Is it then an indirect free kick for the?
Indirect for the other team.
Indirect for the
Okay.
other team, correct.
Thank you.
And that'll happen.
Does he have to stand in the other half of the field, or can he do it like previously? Does it say that?
One player is allowed on the other side of the field to kick
Yeah.
it off.
I understand that, but do they have to stand on the other side, or can they do it like
They don't
before
have to.
this rule was implemented?
They can stand. They don't have to stand on the other side of the field.
Hey, Jack,
Sir,
it's Gary. I have a question concerning the 3-man wall. In current professional leagues, you see almost all the time when they set up a wall, and it's usually more than 3, they have a player laying on the ground. Is that player considered to be one of the 3?
no, he's not in the wall.
But he's laying
He's
behind the
laying
wall.
behind the wall. He's being a knucklehead.
I haven't seen it in high school yet, but it'll happen.
I haven't either, but I've seen a lot more on the TV, so you know it's going to happen on the field now.
Yep.
Not that these guys would ever do things like they see on the TV.
So you're telling us, Schultze, that the guy laying directly behind the wall does not count as a player?
That's
in the
right.
wall.
He's not part of the wall. They got to be standing next to each other to be part of the wall.
I might have some contention with that,
Okay,
but
well,
that's okay.
We'll have to check on that.
we
one. I'm
can
not sure.
verify that, Mr. Kovaleski, because you certainly could be right, but it's my understanding that they don't count as part of the wall. But we'll look at that and put that one back out if that works for you, Mr. Kovaleski. I'm here for
I
you,
would get a
sir.
clarification.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm okay with that. Ball's placed at the spot of the foul. It doesn't, if they're doing a quick kick and they're within a couple of yards of the kick, please don't penalize the team for doing a quick kick and bring it back to that blade of grass. If it's pretty close, and I mean, now you get 10, 15 yards away and and they're already in there, and it's especially if it's up the field and they decide not to bring it back. Obviously, now they're trying to get in, take more of an advantage than they're entitled to. But if they're within a couple of feet, a couple of yards or so, go ahead and let them take the quick kick so they can get the ball back in play. It's going to be your best friend anyway to get a ball back in play. All free kicks can be taken in any direction except the penalty kicks. What direction does the penalty kick have to go?
Forward.
Must go forward. Direct free kick can be scored directly without another player touching the ball. An indirect free kick, the ball must be touched or played another player of either team before entering the goal. What happens if the ball enters the goal on an indirect free kick without it touching another person?
Okay.
Goal kick.
Goal kick.
We had a question, Jack, we had a question, why the player laying behind the two-man wall or three-man or four-man wall gets hit with the ball, or why that's not considered dangerous play in itself, just by laying on the ground like that. Now, they do it, but I don't know where I see it in the rules.
Okay, so in the opinion, what's dangerous about him laying there? If nobody else is allowed around them in that spot right then.
Oh, that was my question. Yeah.
Stupidity.
When could it be considered dangerous? Anybody know?
Yeah, when he creates danger. I mean, just laying on the ground or playing a ball while you're on the ground is not dangerous play.
That's correct. That's correct.
Now he starts kicking at a ball or something like that while he's laying down there. Now he's creating a danger for himself and others around him. Now then I'd whistle him for that. Indirect free kicks for offsides taken from the spot where the offending player interfered with play. Interfered with an opponent or gained an advantage by being in that position. So with that being said, can you take an offside kick from your own from your own half of the field?
Yes.
Absolutely. Remember, you take a picture of where you're at when the ball is played forward as to if you're offsides or not. So if that player comes back to play the ball on the other side of the field, even though he thinks he's not offside, he is in an offside position and gain an advantage from that. It's the other team's ball from that half of the field where he took possession of the ball.
Could you repeat that? Did I understand it as saying if he's in his own half of the field and behind the defenders or closer to the defender's goal, then he is considered. I thought you can't be offsides in your own half of the field, right? That's what I remember.
And look at the picture.
If he's in,
Look at this
okay,
picture.
if where the ball, okay, look at the picture I have up here. If all the defenders are closer to number 9 on the ball on their side, and the guy A is an attacker for 9, and 9 kicks the ball to him, would he be considered offside, or would we just keep going? I know the team is putting him between A and 9, they're stupid, but that's beside the point.
So the ball's
I
kicked
confused
forward.
y'all.
He's in an offside position.
Yeah,
The ball doesn't make it to him. He flubs it. He kicked it wrong. But
yeah, this one I understand, yeah.
he comes back, so he's going to the other team's going to take the free kick from here.
Yeah, that I understand. My question was, between A and 9, all the defenders for the red are between A and 9. And B is where the ball is. And 9 kicks the ball to A. He would not be offsides, even though
That's
red green is not very bright.
Well, yeah, if B is over here where the ball is at when the ball is kicked, he's
That's what I thought.
He's on his own side of the field.
Yeah, I was misunderstanding what you were saying. That's my fault. Got
Okay,
it.
no worries.
If I may say something, Rainer, I don't know you, but your microphone is up awfully loud and it's distorted when it comes through the computer.
Now you're muted.
That's one
And
way.
I
to solve it.
didn't mean that, harshly. I just.
Oh, no, I understand. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Referee's failure to signal offside. Indirect free signal by the referee is displayed by raising an arm above head and maintaining signal until the kick is taken and ball touches another player or goes out of play. What happens if the referee fails to signal an indirect free kick and the ball goes directly into the goal?
Free kick.
Free kick.
Free kick.
Correct.
Anybody got any heartbreak with that?
Yeah, it's opposing coach. One of the coaches is going to be upset.
Precise 3 or one other.
Oh, Gary. On a throw in, ball shall be thrown in any direction from the point where it crosses the touch line. Player must be facing the field of play, have both feet on or behind the touch line, use both hands, deliver the ball from behind and over the head in one continuous movement. Opponents may not impede or interfere with the thrower and be 2 yards from the point of the throw in. If on the throw in, the ball fails to enter the field before it touches the ground, the ball is awarded to the opponent at the spot of the throw in.
Have you been noticing they're shooting it like a basketball?
Shooting it like,
This is on throw-ins. They shoot it like a basketball.
it depends on, I guess it's depending on how they're doing it.
Or even the sidewinder throw.
Most basketball throws are not taken from behind the head. If they're pushed from in front onto the field, that's wrong.
Correct.
The thing I see a lot of is it meets all these criteria and the ball comes from behind the head and they throw it basically straight over and drop it, which there's nothing wrong with, but a lot of players complain about. They're throwing a very short throw to someone who's right in front of them, which based on this, that's legal, but that seems what all the players that I ref, that's what they complain about the most.
It depends on how they do it. If they stop and then drop it, that is illegal. It's got to be a continuous motion. He can't stop and then just drop it.
Right. I'm saying it's a continuous motion.
Okay.
But they don't like the fact that the hand, normally they're releasing up here, but instead they're following through and releasing with their arms straight out in front of them.
Right. And a lot of times you get the old fashioned coach, not I say old fashioned, but even coaches are still caught up on it coming not completely with one arm being a little bit limp as it goes over the head or behind. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as it goes straight over his head and it's come from behind, we're good. There's no more of the equal pressure on each side of the ball and all that kind of stuff. They did away with that stuff because you got to be a pain in the butt.
Jack, Bucky Jones here, just 1 second. I didn't know you were going to throw-ins. You want to ask the question of what happens if the referee shows an indirect free kick signal on a direct free kick? What happens after that?
What happens on a direct
So
free
we have
kick?
a DFK, the referee signals for an IFK, the ball goes into the goal. What do you do?
Oh no, you
Retake
tell
it.
us, Mr. Bucky.
It's also a re-kick.
Yeah.
Because the referee signaled incorrectly and the team was improperly informed of how to play the ball.
Yeah, so do it right the first time because you're going to get into a lot of issues when you take that ball back and have a re-kick.
Sorry about that, but
No, that's good stuff, Bucky. I appreciate it.
not bad.
No, not your bad at all. This is a big one right here that opponents cannot impede or interfere with the thrower. They got to be 2 yards away. They can't sit there right in front of the guy getting ready to throw the ball, jumping up and down. Give them their 2 yards.
I have a question here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
This is Anupam. Just curious, if the player has only one hand during
If the player has only one arm, is that what you're asking?
yeah.
They got to do the best they can, I guess. I mean, that's a pretty good balance, and I can do it with one hand, so I'm gonna give him credit for that anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. But the rules there have to be with both hands, so that's why.
A goal may be on a corner kick. Goal may be scored directly from a corner kick, but only against the opposing team. Does everybody understand what that means? You can't kick it to all the way to the other side of the field against yourself. Corner kick.
Hell of a leg.
I would be impressed. I think I would give them the goal just because.
So what's the restart? If you kick it in your own goal.
Corner kick.
Corner kicks on the other side.
Corner kick.
A corner kick is awarding to the opposing team when a free kick taken out from outside the penalty area goes untouched into a team's own goal. Players from the defending team shall be at least 10 yards from the ball until it has been kicked. Okay, so 10 yards is from where? Is it from the corner?
No. Corner arc.
Corner arc. And how big is the arc?
1 yard.
1 yard. So you got to march off 11 yards from the corner, yeah?
On the flag, yes.
If there is no arc.
Hopefully there's an arc.
And you put it in your game report, but the field's improperly marked.
Offensive players cannot be offside on a corner kick. Why is that?
Because they're
all
the game.
They're all behind the ball.
That's right. Jack, you're killing me.
And I'm not even paying attention to you, Schultz.
You got that stain on your shirt.
Shit, yes. I'm trying to write my bills out, and you're talking soccer, man. Come on.
Player taking a corner kick may not play the ball again until after it has been played by another player. Just like on a kickoff, if he double touches it like that, it's indirect for their team coming back out. A goal may be scored directly from a goal kick. Is that true or false?
True.
True.
Yeah.
True.
False.
But a goal kick's a direct free kick.
No, it isn't.
It is not.
I have a question about the offsides for the corner kick.
Go ahead.
So that you said that everyone's behind the ball, but what if the ball isn't placed on the goal line on the arc, but it's further up on the arc? You can still have someone past that, correct?
I'm sorry.
It's
Repeat
all
that.
considered on the goal line.
Hey, Jack,
Yes.
you might want to look at page 41, Rule 10, scoring. You said a goal may be scored directly from a goal kick.
Not on yourself. You have to add, but only against an opposing team.
Trick question.
Okay.
The trick question.
All right. But a goal can be scored is the point I'm making. We put it
Against your opponent, yes.
Yeah. So just to make that clear, against yourself.
Here's another one that I want to ask all of you guys. Can you be offsides on a goal kick?
No.
Oh,
No.
Absolutely
No.
not.
Hey, Jack,
Yes.
it's, before you move on to the next subject, I have a clarification for George Barak. How do you pronounce your last name, George? Barakas? Anyways, it has to do with the one-armed player making the throw. And as long as he makes that throw, it's a legal throw from behind the head toward the field, it's okay. If he doesn't, it's not.
You can't throw it like a baseball.
All right.
But that gets back to the one-arm player. If you have a one-arm player, then they can't legally throw the ball in.
Sure
Yes, they can.
Or behind the head, right over the head.
But they wouldn't be using two hands.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
It's kind of hard for them to use something they don't have. They're not
You
gonna.
just say you have to use both hands.
Yeah.
So now we got to penalize somebody because they don't have an arm.
I mean, that's another thing that's just, it's a rule. So how do
It's
you
a
bend the
rule.
rules for that? And then,
Go to the link I just posted in the chat. It has it in there.
Yeah.
and that's how we get in a lot of trouble as refs on the field, is bending the rules and not.
Well, as long as we're consistent, because I've had that before, and I explained to them, you have to have somebody with two hands throw the ball, and they were okay with it. But if the next guy comes the next game and tell
discrimination.
them to do something different,
Yeah,
There's
it's
a problem.
specifically articulated now that you can do it with one hand. It's in the rules. We're not bending the
Okay.
rules. There is a specific clause for
That's all. No, that's
one
all.
player.
Yeah, as long as he
Throw
proceed-
in
as long as he
question by
performs
a
the
player
procedure.
with one hand, you can go to page 71, Rule 15, Section 1, Article 2, and there's a special exemption for that in the high school, in the NFHS rules.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bucky.
Let me read something to you that George just provided. A player who lacks a normal use of one or both hands may nevertheless perform a legal throw-in, provided the ball is delivered over the head and provided all other requirements of Law 15 are observed. And it's in my opinion, throw-in is one of those. It's not one of those most important rules, but as long as you do what this says, you should consider it legal.
gotcha, thank you.
Bishop England goalkeeper makes a weak kick on a goal kick. Stratford player runs on into the penalty area, gets to the ball first and scores. What's the restart?
Kick off.
Kick off.
Kick off.
Kick off. It's a goal.
Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that.
Are they using the one where it doesn't have to leave the penalty area now?
Nope. It started in 2020, I think.
Okay, but yeah, but I mean, they're starting to use it. I did a few, but they were using, the players were not kicking it to their player inside the penalty area. They were playing it downfield. So that was my question.
So on that goal kick, where is that opposing player supposed to be?
Outside the penalty area.
Outside the penalty area. What is the only exception of that?
The guy's turning around, walking away when they put it in play.
If the knuckleheads taking the goal kick decide to try to do a quick goal kick and get started and don't give him the opportunity to get outside of the area, then he does that at his own peril.
As long as he's making an attempt to get out of the penalty area.
That's correct. Now, if he's just standing there being silly and he had an opportunity to get out of the area, then obviously we're not gonna permit that. We good with that?
Yep.
All right. On an Orangeburg goal kick, an Orangeburg player is 20 yards in an offside position in Newberry half of the field. The Orangeburg keeper uses the wind to get the ball to his teammate in an offside position, who then scores. What's the restart?
Kick off.
Kick off.
Kick off.
Kick off.
Everybody good? That's what we just talked about a minute ago, right? You can't be offsides on a goal kick. Players opposing the kicker shall remain outside the penalty area until the ball's in play. Ball's in play when it is kicked and moves. After the goal kick is taken, the ball may be played by anyone but the kicker.
Once somebody else kicks the ball, or the goal kick's taken, and another player touches it, if a guy's on an offside position, the guy kicks it to him, he's freaking offside.
Yeah, if somebody else touched the ball, yeah.
Now, what happens if somebody else makes the kick and kicks it and the goalkeeper picks it up?
Ooh.
Indirect for the other team.
On a goal kick or indirect?
Can't play it back to the keeper.
Anybody?
First of all, if the keeper's in his own penalty area, it's gonna be an indirect free kick.
That's
You
right.
gotta figure out, was there a obvious goal scoring opportunity or something else for the opponent, and then you can have a good time figuring that one out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's indirect, right?
If he does that, it's a kick back to the goalkeeper and it's a, a foul.
Blue Star
First,
keeper.
it'll never happen.
Now it's gonna happen.
Oh, you had to say that.
Blue Star's keeper takes the goal kick, but it's misstruck and goes to the red smile number 2. Number 2 passes the ball to red smile number 8, who scores. What's the restart?
As long as 8 was onside and he was trying to get out of the penalty area, it's a goal.
Kickoff.
Good job. Good job. 100. Goal kick. Blue Star keeper hits the red smile player in the back as he is attempting to leave the penalty area. Red smile player turns, controls the ball, shoots, and scores. What's the restart?
Another kickoff.
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 Right. That's what we were just discussing a minute ago. If he's,
Talked about that.
yep. I gave you answers before I even did these.
It's a kickoff. The guy scored a goal.
Easy now, easy. We're gonna need you for the season. Let's not bust the vessel in the night.
Keep going, Jack.
The Wando goalkeeper has placed the ball on the right penalty area line for the goal kick. She decides to kick the ball from the opposite end of the penalty area. She picks up the ball once she has placed it and moves it to the other side of the penalty area. Can she do that?
Nope. She needs to
Nope,
move
yellow
back.
card.
Yes, she can.
Delay time depends.
Put it back.
Uh-oh, we got all these people, different answers.
She needs to move it back.
So we need to take more time and move back to the other place?
He's on the penalty area line, not the goal area.
She can move the ball wherever she wants to.
I think depends on if it was purposely delay of the game, then we have to deal with that.
So the ball must be placed in goal area, not the penalty area. But as long as she's not taking an unusually extended a period of time to purposely to waste time, there's nothing wrong with her picking it up and moving position.
All right.
Now if they're doing it in the last couple of minutes of the game just to waste time, obviously you can give a card for deliberate time wasting.
That was what I was thinking.
As she has put the ball into play, there is no penalty. Don't cause problems where you don't need to. Like I said, usually I personally understand when you're doing this for a while, you understand when they're trying to waste time. I'll usually give them that, hey, I know what you're doing. We're not gonna do that no more. Let's play the ball. And then when she does it again, there's no questions of why she's getting her card. Ball simultaneously kicked out of bounds. Where's the ball placed?
Drop ball 5 yards from the touchline.
No such thing as a simultaneously kicked out of ball, out of play. You have to make a decision.
Well, there is, but the best way is to make a decision. I agree.
Ball is placed 5 yards inside the boundary line. Who gets the ball?
Team that last possessed it.
Correct. So whoever last possessed it, I'm with Gary. Be the bad guy and make a decision on who's got the throw in. Or who has a goal kick or corner kick.
Or give it to the team you're going to drop the ball to.
There you go.
Game gets restarted with a drop ball. When the ball is caused to go out of bounds by two opponents simultaneously. When the ball becomes deflated, following a temporary suspension of play for injury or unusual situation, or when simultaneous fouls of the same degree occur by opponents. Once again, I don't like simultaneous stuff. Something happened first.
Question on that simultaneous fouls of the same degree. In the instance that there's either an indirect or a direct free kick, and there are two guys that are down in the box that are pushing, shoving, and you decide that it needs to be called, you still then remit back to the original kick, not that drop ball at that point.
If you stop play to have to address two guys pushing and shoving and the ball's in play, and
the ball hasn't been put in play yet. The ball is, like I said, they're lining up, and oftentimes right in front of goal, there's push and shoving. During that time, according to this, it's saying you then turn it to a drop ball. Is that correct? Or do you go with the original?
You go with the original thing for what the ball's out of play for.
Correct. Okay. That's what I thought. Just this is the way this is worded. Made me a little nervous here.
So can a direct free kick or such occur when the ball is out of play? What's one of the prerequisites to having a direct free kick or an indirect free kick? Ball's got to be in play, right?
Ball's got to be in play.
So anything that happens when the ball is out of play is considered misconduct, not a penal foul.
Correct.
Well, you got two choices. You either go down and tell them to stop acting like jerks, or you give them a yellow card.
Placement of the drop ball. Ball should be dropped at the location where it became dead unless it's within the goal area. If it's in the goal area, it's got to be taken parallel outside the area. In that case, the ball should be dropped on that part of the goal area, which runs parallel to the goal nearest the location where the ball was when play was stopped. Restart of drop ball. Ball is dropped from the waist. Don't bend over the ball when you drop it. In all cases, players must remain at least 4 yards from the ball until it's in play. The ball shall touch the ground before it's played. Drop the ball again if it touches a player before it hits the ground, or leaves the field of play after it touches the ground without touching a player. Hopefully, if you get a strong wind, you go far enough away from the sideline. That's not gonna happen.
So I have a question. Is this the placement of the drop ball, taking it outside of the goal area, is for the attacking team, right? Not for the defending team?
You can't do a drop ball within the 6.
But to the goalie, right? Like all drop balls in FIFA inside the penalty area go to the keeper, right?
We're not playing.
Correct. But that's not the rule in high school?
No.
Okay.
I think we need to check that. I've read that. It should give it to the keeper, sir.
Yeah, I think it is.
Check that for me, Gary, while we're talking.
I'm working it inside.
Jack, can you go back a couple slides? We had the simultaneous kick and the simultaneous touch with two different restarts, if I read that correctly. So there, a ball's caused to go out of bound by two opponents simultaneous, says drop ball. Go before that. The slide before that says simultaneous kicked out of bounds, the team in possession gets the ball. So we got two different rules here.
We'll look that one up too. I didn't catch that one. Dr. Bob might have screwed me over.
I think the NFHS is eliminating the drop ball where you have two players right there with the ball. Drop balls now are only to one player. So if the ball is
Correct.
simultaneously goes out of touch simultaneously by two players, you do a drop ball to the last team who had possession. They're getting rid of this drop ball where you have team A and team B right there side by side. They're only dropping it to one player now.
That's correct.
Okay, so that's the rule. So if it's simultaneous, whoever had it before him, before that last time, that's who it gets dropped to. And then Jamie asked a question, or no, Larry asked a question.
Yeah.
Can a high school
That was me.
player do the drop ball, dribble the ball from the drop? Yes. In high school, if you drop up to a player, he can dribble it from one end of the field to the other.
Here's the answer to the one that asked about the drop ball in the penalty area. If when play was stopped, the ball was in the penalty area, the ball is dropped to the defending team's goalkeeper with all opposing players outside the area.
Yeah, in all cases, I think the situation you were referring to was a foul inside the inside the goal area. You can't retake the kick in direct kick inside. You have to move it out. That's different than a drop ball.
I didn't follow that.
Well, if you have an indirect free kick call against a defense inside the goal area, you have to move the ball back to the goal area line. It's got the 6-yard goal box there.
Oh, yeah.
Any drop ball is correct. Any drop ball nowadays is to the goalkeeper.
Wait, you're saying that if there is a indirect free kick inside the penalty area, you put the ball on the closer line?
Inside the six.
Inside the
Indirect free
inside
kick,
the six.
Inside the six. You move it
Inside
to
the goal
line.
area.
You move it to the goal line parallel to where the.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, because you don't have, yeah, of course. Yeah, got it.
So the drop ball discussion, the rules are pretty clear. They're definitely different than FIFA rules.
There's no difference.
No, there's
What's
a
the difference?
significant difference. Page 39, 9.2. It's significantly different than FIFA rules.
Let's restart. If a drop ball enters the goal without touching at least two players, if it goes into the opponent's goal, or if it enters their own goal. Let's restart it if it enters the goal without touching at least two players.
It's a kickoff because you can. Okay.
Goal kick.
So a drop ball is basically an indirect kick, right? It's got to touch somebody else before after the person taking the drop touches it.
I don't think that's right. I thought if someone drops the ball, if it's a drop ball, the player kicks it, he can score a goal off of that.
No.
No, it's just like an indirect free kick.
Yeah, always indirect.
Yeah, rule.
It's considered an indirect free kick. Same thing.
Yeah, if you look at page 39, it says Article 6 says if a drop ball enters the goal without touching at least two players, that would be the person who had the ball on the drop. It is restarted with a goal kick if it enters the opponent's goal, or a corner kick if it enters the team's own goal. It's got to touch two players.
I thought on drop ball, if it's a drop ball, they can dribble anywhere. If the team was the last in
Oh, they
possession of
can.
that drop ball, they can dribble anywhere, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they just can't.
So then he should be able to score a goal off of that.
No,
No.
nope, he can't. He
No.
can dribble the ball all over the field, but he can't shoot and score. It has to touch somebody else.
Look on page 39, Article 6. That's where it said.
Okay. When I get my book, I'll read it, make sure.
a stalled defender, either inside or outside or penalty area, kicks the ball, it hits the referee and is deflected over the goal line, not into the goal. What's the restart?
The more it hit the referee, they do it again, they kick it.
Drop ball to the goalkeeper.
If it's inside, yes. If it's outside, it's where the ball is.
It's inside, yeah.
Right.
Corner kick.
Corner kick.
As referee is part of the field.
Goal kick.
The ball remained in play after striking the referee. It did not change possession. So a promising attack did not develop and the ball did not enter the goal. So it's a corner kick.
Yep.
It's a corner kick.
Corner kick on the test.
Do we whistle to signal the restart on a drop ball or no whistle?
I would whistle. The way school is not like FIFA. They love whistles, so everybody knows what's going on. So whistle before you drop the ball.
In this case, as you've described it, it did change possession. The defender kicked the ball, and now it's going to the attacking team. Isn't that a change of possession?
No.
It went from the defending team to the attacking team.
I think the difference here is the ball was out of play. So the ball that didn't remain in the field.
It hit the referee and then went out of bounds.
Right. It's
which caused the change of possession.
Change of possession. They're talking about if an attacker had then stepped onto the ball and won it, that would be a change of possession in the field of play. That's really what the change of possession is about.
Yeah.
It's not a result of the ball going out of bounds. The play finished with the ball going out of bounds. Where's your restart? Right. So the restart would change possession because, well, it went out off of a defender. So the restart is going to the attacking team.
The ball went out of bounds because it hit the referee.
A defender played the ball went out of bounds. Without an attacker
the ball
touching
and
it.
it hit the referee.
Correct.
And then it went out of bounds.
Correct. The referee is a part of the field. That's unfortunate for the defender who had bad aim.
If it's the defender, then that's a corner kick. It's real simple.
All right. The attacking player kicks the ball from either inside or outside the opponent's penalty area. The ball strikes the referee and deflects over the goal line and not into the goal. What's the restart?
Okay.
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 Goal kick. Penalty kick shall be awarded.
I got a question for you. Out of the book, let's see who knows. The referee inadvertently sounds the whistle with the ball in the penalty area. What's the restart?
Drop ball.
Ball to the goalkeeper.
What's
Correct.
What's the restart?
Drop ball to the keeper.
Drop ball to the defending goalkeeper.
That's correct.
And then the goal, and then the referee better run after the game. Penalty kick shall be awarded with a foul, which ordinarily results in the awarding of a direct free kick occurs within the offending team's penalty area. Any issues with that?
Nope.
Rock Hill attacker moving into the attacking third of the field. When it hits the water sprinkler, when the water sprinkler starts working, what's the restart?
Drop ball.
Drop ball to the attacker, the attacking team.
Correct. Position of referee and assistant referee or head referee and referee. Head referee needs to be able to see the kick is properly taken and no encroachment occurs. The referee positions himself to watch goalkeeper movement. The keeper must keep 1 foot on the goal line until the ball is kicked. Any problems with this?
No, Jack, no problem, but the wording should be, or the foot should be over the line. It doesn't have to be standing on the line.
That's correct.
All right, how many issues are with this?
Well, the assistant referee judges the goal, not the referee.
Well, the assistant referee is gonna.
Assistant referee's in the wrong spot.
There's a lot of encroachment.
A lot of
It
encroachment.
looks like a 5-man.
Keeper's way off his line.
Depending who moved first.
So let me ask, I'll ask this question real quick. Okay, somebody's got their stuff on. Can you mute if you're not talking? Is this guy allowed to be right here?
Yes.
Number 18, is he allowed to be right here?
No.
Absolutely not.
No, he's got to be outside the 18.
He's behind the ball.
Why not? He's behind the ball. That's all that matters.
He'll be
That's
up
right.
here.
He is allowed there.
What if he was 10 yards farther up towards the goal line and the ball came back to him?
He'd be in an offside position.
If the ball comes off the keeper, he would then be considered an offside position.
Correct.
Hey,
What if the
that
ball
may be
hit?
the case,
How,
but
how can it be an offside position if it's touched by the goalkeeper?
Is there
It goes
two?
to him.
Oh,
Yeah.
hold on. Is there two people? Is there two people right now?
No. No, they would be in an offside position right now if the ball came off the keeper to him.
If the keeper touches it, there's not offside.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
still,
it can't be offside because it came
He's
off
behind the
defender.
ball.
He's behind the ball.
There's a whole bunch of defenders in the area with the ball
Jeez.
not being struck. Does anybody care?
Well, that was the first,
Yeah, but
that was the first thing
that's
somebody
another,
said.
but that's another issue. But that's another issue right now. Let's talk about this position of this outside player outside the side of the 18.
Right. He's okay if he's behind the ball,
He's okay.
but the slide is talking about the other guys encroaching.
Notice how many infractions are in this photo. So I'm asking, is this guy?
That guy's
Okay.
fine. He's
that's
more-
because legal. He's perfectly behind the ball. And when the ball rebounds from the keeper, goalpost to the crossbar, and if he plays it from that position, and everybody else is exactly where they are, he is onside because he got the ball. He was always behind the ball.
Right.
Well, except for if it hits the crossbar. If it hits the crossbar, he's offside.
No,
he's not.
No.
Negative,
Hold
Ghost
on,
Rider.
hey,
Negative,
Hold on.
Ghost Rider.
Hey,
Let me-
everybody calm down for a second. All right, the reason why he's not offside is, can you be offside if you are behind the ball when it's played forward?
No.
No.
And so that's why he must be behind the ball, which he is here.
That's right. Let me ask
That's right.
a similar question. What if that player was where he is and the goalkeeper takes the kick? Can he play it where the player on the outside, number 18, I can't read his number, gets the ball and can score? If he doesn't shoot on goal, but he instead passes it ahead of the number 18, can number 18 run in and kick, score?
Yes, happens all the time.
As long as the ball goes forward.
Yeah. That's right.
All right.
If I'm the referee in this situation, no matter what the result of the kick is, we're retaking this kick.
That's right.
You've got infractions by both the defending team and the attacking team.
Where's the attacking team issue?
Yeah.
The white player moving inside the arc.
Yeah, look, at the top of the D, he's already
That's right.
he's already like one step in.
Okay.
And there's another player to his left who's standing on the line.
I don't think the referee's going to see the guy in the arc because blue number 7 is going to block his view of that.
So just by this snapshot, if
Yeah, but
whatever,
the VAR will
no
see
matter
it.
what happened, the results of this kick, we're retaking it.
That's right.
Huh?
Not correct.
Oh,
Everybody good now?
If the kicker scores as is, it's a goal.
not if he sees the white person inside the circle. But as I said, he might not be able to see him because number 7 is blocking his view.
Based on the rule, both sides encroach before the kick. That's
Yeah.
a free kick.
That's right, it's a re-kick, it's both sides. Yeah, you have pretty darn good eyes, buddy.
I'll say this. By the letter of law, he's in there. If he scores this goal and you make him take this again, good luck to yourself.
Right.
Rules are rules.
Regarding the taking of the penalty kicks, do you guys have the assistant referee looking at the goal line? And then the center ref looking at the top of the penalty area?
I'm sorry, can you say that one again?
I said regarding penalty kicks, do you guys have the assistant referee looking at the goal line and the goalkeeper, and then the center referee looking at the ball striker and the let's say everybody outside the penalty area?
So every referee is going to be different, and this is something that should be discussed in your pregame of who you want looking at what during a penalty kick.
So do you recommend that the AR, since this is a 5-man, do you recommend the AR comes into top of the penalty area to watch the keeper for his positioning?
I want the AR in this area.
That's why I said you want it on the penalty area line.
You
Isn't that where it should be?
You don't want him this far in. My opinion, I wouldn't want my AR this far in if it's in our normal situation, because now that keeper plays it, he's got to turn his back and book it back here to watch for offsides and stuff as the play continues. He's got to be at least close enough to this sideline to be able to get in position quickly.
There's
One other point
on the
about-
line. This guy's,
I think this is.
that guy's an
someone
extra
already
official.
mentioned this is a 5-man system, first of all. And I don't know where the assistant referee should be in FIFA law. But for our 3-man system, the AR should be at the intersection of the penalty area line and the goal line. And I think now the forward AR is supposed to be over on the corner flag on the side of the field. He's working somewhere close to there to observe PKs. So this person right here for what we do is immaterial, really, because we're not going to have 5-referee team. Is that correct, Jack?
Correct. I don't know. You guys in Charleston get a lot of money, so.
Hey, but Ed, I got a point, Jack, if you don't mind for a second.
Sure, absolutely.
In our high school game where we're running predominantly 2-man systems, the referee in this particular point is in a wrong position. He would need to have to come out to be able to observe the guy that's in the white that's on the side of the 18, because he's the one that would be judging whether or not that guy would be offside.
I agree with you.
In this particular case, he's not. But right now, he can't see that guy with his back to him. And therefore, if this were the case, I would advise him to move down off to the, so he can observe number, what is that, number 18, I guess?
18, yeah.
18? Yeah. Right now, number 18 is being covered by that guy on the far touchline for offside. But right now in a 2-man system, it's only between you and the guy that's on the goal line observing the goal. The referee should be in a different position. And actually, he could actually be viewing back into the top of the stuff that's going on through encroachment at the top of the 18 and the circle and the semicircle.
In a 2-man system.
That's all I got. Sorry, guys.
No, good stuff.
In a 2-man system, wouldn't you suggest that the lead official actually be closer to the 6-yard line to be able to judge whether the ball is in or out on the goal line. Therefore, taking the keeper and the kicker, and the trail official then is responsible for the players outside the penalty area.
Whatever works for you.
Well, then who's responsible? I guess the question is, who's responsible for the ball being in or out of the goal?
Your AR on this side.
The two-man system.
If you're in a two-man system,
Two-man system, your lead official is going to be down here on the line watching for the ball going in the goal.
That's
So
right.
your suggestion is that in two-man, that the lead official be on the goal line, not between, let's say, out by the 6-yard.
I'd
So
have
that they-
him. I'd have him in this area where my arrow is at.
Thank you.
You'll find
This
a
is
diagram of what you just asked on page 90. And it has the lead official roughly halfway between the penalty area line intersection with the goal line and the goal area line intersection with the goal line. I'm sure you'd modify that based on the play of the game and a few other things, but that's what the diagram on page 90 indicates.
Just as a matter of clarification, how many matches are going to be a two-man match?
Depends on the area and the school.
About 96%. About 96% in the upstate.
almost
Probably-
all of them.
Probably about 60 to 70% in the Middle Beach area.
The answer is, for the good of the game, too many, because you don't have enough referees to go around. I think all the directors would agree with that. Some of the schools only want 2 referees because that's all they can afford. I think most of us try to send 3 referee teams to the games where we feel the competition requires that to have a fair match. But like in any other sport, you do with what you can do with what's available.
All right, have we beat this slide up now? I think we're good with this one.
Well, how many infractions did we have?
Too many. I can't count that high.
But that's not unusual.
Take your shoes off, Schultz.
I'm an electrical engineer. That's all I know how to do is count.
Jeez.
Person handling. Person should be penalized for deliberately handling, carrying, striking, or propelling the ball with the hand or arm. Penalty is a direct free kick. The following must be considered: the movement of the hand towards the ball, the distance or proximity between the opponent and the ball, and the initial position of the arm. This is going to come down to a lot of interpretation by referees during a game. So I actually brought up a good little video that actually goes through this pretty well.
I want to talk about one of the most
You
controversial
Cannot see the video.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to change what you're sharing.
handball and what doesn't. It's so difficult because in the laws of the game, it has to be deliberate. How does a referee know it's deliberate? He cannot ask the player in the middle of the game, did he deliberately handle it or not? Because the player will say he never did. But I'm going to use Kyle and Robbie to try and demonstrate what a referee is looking for to see if it's deliberate or not.
We cannot see the video.
In this case, I would play on. Why I'll play on is Robbie has his hands in a natural position.
You guys can't see that?
No.
Kyle.
Oh, that sucks.
The ball goes towards Robbie's hand. Robbie's hand doesn't go towards the ball, and therefore this is normal play on. There's a dip.
Cannot see the video.
All right. Well, that's too bad. It's a good video.
That's funny.
Everybody write that link down, then watch it later.
Watch this link later. It's actually Mark Clattenburg who does a very good job of explaining what you should be looking for when you're determining what a handling call is.
Can you guys put it in the chat? Please.
Everybody get the link there?
Just got it. Thanks, Jack.
You guys go ahead and watch that. It's only about a 3 or 4 minute video. If you guys don't mind, please go ahead and watch that real quick and then we'll discuss it.
Difference here now. I would award a foul for sure for handball. Because what Robbie does, he makes himself bigger. He makes himself bigger by putting his hands out. Therefore, when Kyle knocks the ball past Robbie, his hands being in that position, it's making himself bigger, and therefore it's a deliberate. So it's deliberate. So it's just difference between there and there. That's the.
Because what's interesting about that is
Someone mute their
ball hit
their
your
call
hand.
so we
You
don't
didn't
hear
intentionally
echoes.
move towards the ball, but you're saying the deliberate movement is this one.
We used to see a lot of players in the Premier League when the ball was getting crossed, they'd make themselves bigger. So they'd use it. They would run
Guys,
this-
mute your phone, your video.
Jack is with us.
What, Gary?
Oh, I just wondering if you're still with us. That's all.
I am. I'm waiting. I'm giving people that it's like a 3 minute, 45-second video. So. Did everybody get a chance to watch it now?
I'm still watching it.
Drinking water.
All right, everybody should have watched that now. So after seeing this, what kind of questions does people have? I mean, it's pretty plain. If you obviously you are not there to determine a defender's intent. All you can do is call what you see. If you have a defender making himself bigger and his arm moves that way, then it's going to be a handling call. If it's outside of a natural position for a defensive, in a defensive position, it's handling. Your arms above your arm goes above your head. It's not natural.
It says your speaker's not working. Please check your connection before using the speaker. Oh, we're using a speaker. Like use the same speaker? No, I think it's so far. I mean, I can.
Mute, please, mute.
Don't want to use it. What do you want to use? That's feature.
Hey,
Yeah.
guys, can you mute, please?
Oh, all right. You want to try your? No, mine doesn't work.
Mr. Milt, if you could mute your microphone. Milt McNay?
Hey, Jack, I think as a presenter, you can mute everybody.
I just muted him.
Okay.
So everybody got a chance to watch that. If a defender is within a couple of yards of an attacking player, and this guy or the defender, doesn't matter. If he drills it into him and this guy doesn't have a chance to react to it and it hits him in the arm, there's no intent there. As long as he's doesn't have his arms above his head and flail him while he's coming in to defend, it's not going to be a handling call.
Jack, what if he puts his hands up to protect his face?
Then then NFHS considers that a reaction to protect themselves, and we're okay with that. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, the key word on that one is the proximity. So if
right
15 yards away and he brings his hands to his face and the ball is going to hit him in the face, then he's got plenty of time to react to the flight of the ball. Then you would call that. Same thing for a female player who brings her arms to her chest. If, like you said, if it's 1 yard away and it's a self-preservation, no. But if it's a ball in flight from 15 yards away and she brings her hands to her chest and then chests it down with her elbow, then it's handling.
Absolutely. And I think they bring up on there as well, a sliding player going across somebody, their natural movement of their arm is to put it down to brace themselves for their landing. And as they're sliding, that gonna go. This happens all the time. You got a player on the ground with their arm coming behind them like that, sliding along the ground, and it hits them in the arm, and everybody wants a PK to be called. This happens constantly. As long as they didn't lift their arm to stop the ball, you should not be calling that.
Yeah, using your arm as support is not intentionally handling the ball.
Is everybody good with that and understand that?
Yeah.
Any heartbreaks with any of this?
No, sir.
Substitutions, either team unlimited at the end of a period, a goal kick if they've already reported to the middle. And a caution, the player has to sub out. Right?
Yeah.
So any of these substitutions, if they're standing up there ready to sub in, and the substitution is a substitution situation, both teams can sub. Good?
Yes.
Yeah.
So team in possession gets a throw in or a corner kick. If the team in possession is subbing, we're not gonna allow that sub. We're gonna allow both teams to sub in that case, as long as they've already reported. Just because somebody's running up to the center because they see the ball just went out of bounds, have they checked in beforehand? No. So they can wait till the next one. It happens all the time. Coaches like to, oh, well, he was coming off the bench. I'm gonna sub him in. No, we're gonna wait till the next one. Sorry, coach. When does a substitute become a player? When beckoned onto the field by the referee. This is extremely important. Why is that important? Especially with high school players at this age. 15 to 18-year-olds are not the brightest individuals sometimes.
Yeah, if you beckon a player onto the field and he does something that would render him a red card, then you've got to determine whether the team can replace him or not.
So if that player coming off the field is still coming off the field and you've already beckoned that substitute onto the field, that player coming off the field is now the substitute and not the player of record. The substitute coming on is, well, that person is running off the field, then wants to take a swing at somebody, and is a red card offense. You're going to have to explain to the opposing team's coach why that team's still allowed to play with 11 players.
Then as a matter of course, do you in your matches require the player going off the field to go off the field before you beckon on the sub?
I do. I've been doing this a long time, and I catch more crap in my games because I'm the quote unquote anal referee about substitutions. If we all do it the right way, there's nobody questioning it anymore. It's far too many times that we just go, let everybody in, and then we got a mass exodus of players coming on off the field. And we don't know who the players are supposed to be on the field and who's the subs and who's the players, right?
Then why don't we as a group decide that's what we're gonna do?
It's not a we as a group decide what we gotta do. That is in the rules. That's the rules of this game.
Hey, if you guys eating, please, can you mute?
Well, first of all, I'd like to just tell Jack Schultz I'm all for him noting the problem we have with the NFHS rule about beckoning a player on before a player leaves. The problem with it in FIFA law is we do the same darn thing. Most referees let players enter before the player's off, and the FIFA law says you're not supposed to do that. The player cannot enter until the player leaving is left. So Jack's point about what happens if you have a red card situation and who plays down and who plays with a full squad for the rest of the game is pretty doggone important. Thanks, Jack, for pointing that out.
Thanks, Bucky.
I think it makes a difference whether they're subbing one player or 5 players. If it's one player, it's pretty easy to count and see the guy going off.
Okay, so in the situation I just said to you, are you going to be able to read that player's mind coming off the field of whether he's going to do something silly or not coming off the field? It's just one player, right?
Mostly off the field and say, go in. You know, you got to be reasonable about keeping the game going.
That is reasonable. That's what the substitute protocol is. Correct? How many players are allowed to be on the field at a time?
11.
Okay.
22.
22.
But there's not play going on, for crying out loud.
How do you signify substitutions without beckoning on the player then?
Go ahead and call your player off.
You don't know who the player going off is, though.
I don't care. Go ahead and call you. I'm telling the substitute, call your player off. That doesn't mean that I told him to come on the field. I'm telling him to call his player off.
Yeah, once you see the other guy almost off the field, you can say, go ahead in.
No, but what he said is important. Call your man off. That's not saying, come on, sub. That's saying, call your man off. You see the subs there waiting. You say, call your man off. You haven't beckoned him on yet.
Right. And the coach or the other players telling, hey, you're out of here and I'm coming in. Or coach is saying, you're out of here.
I mean, the point he's making is valid. I had a game 2 seasons ago where I called a sub on the kid that was going off, committed a red card offense before he got off the field. I couldn't make them play down. They had to keep playing with 11 because I had already called the sub on. Make them wait. You don't have to do what I did and explain to the other coach about why that team got to play with 11 after I gave a red card to somebody.
As part of your pregame with your coin toss with the captains and the coaches, That's where you reiterate your game management of substitution. This is how I'm going to handle this. Tell them at that point how you're going to handle the substitution. Make it clear at the beginning of the match. That way you don't have to worry about the rest of the game.
Great point.
So everybody clear about substitutions. When we start to circumvent from what we're supposed to be there for, and we have referees diverting and doing their own thing all over the place, this is why we catch so much crap when the person out there doing it the right way gets caught in this. If we all do it the right way, then we don't get caught up in this, because they all learn that this is the right way to do it, and this is the way that the referees are doing it.
You're exactly right, Jack. How many of us have heard from a coach, their number one complaint is consistency from game to game to game to game to game. And one of the most ones is the jewelry one. You know, well, the guy let me have this last game, or the other ref was allow me to do this. So it's about being consistent by the rules of the game per NFHS rules. And if we do it by the letter of the law, we're not going to have any problems.
And that's one of the main reasons we are blessed to have the high school league letting us Zoom our meetings, in terms of Jack's point about consistency, and yours as well. We have had directors teaching stuff 7 different ways, only little bits of this and bits of that. And what we're trying to do with this entire Zoom thing is to get the consistency Jack talked about throughout the state. So when they get to the playoffs and to the finals and that sort of stuff, whatever referee crew is selected to go ref that game will be doing the same sort of things that the kids experience during the regular season in their own district. So this point about consistency is tremendously valid and well made.
Anybody else got anything on subs? It really comes down to this with the consistency. You hear all the time, well, the last referee let me do it. Well, this one let me. If we don't make up the laws for FIFA or the rules for the NFHS. We are paid to enforce those laws and rules. If we just do it all the same way, we're going to have a lot less issues. So is there any more questions about subs, handling, or free kicks?
Well, one thing that gets lost in all this discussion is that the rule really is that when the referee beckons the player onto the field, he becomes the player. So it's up to the referees to do it uniformly. Now, when we have 2-man system, you might have one referee doing it on one side of the field, the other referee doing it on the other side of the field if they lined up that way, the schools are. So it's up to us as a referee team to try to do it as uniformly as possible.
Once again, that can be addressed in your pregame
Mm-hmm. Yep.
how you want to handle substitutions, whether you're doing a 2-man or a 3-man.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
The point was made a few minutes ago of consistency is what players look for. The reason for they look for that consistency is players can adjust to a consistent referee or referee crew. They cannot adjust when it's being changed left and right to what is a foul, what's not a foul, how you're going to sub and do all these things. So what that does is it frustrates players. Frustrated players tend to get out of control. We don't like out of control players. Bad things happen.
One thing that helps, Jack, is know the game that you're officiating going in. That way you don't get screwed up thinking that it's a FIFA game or a high school game. And that way you can maintain some consistency if you remind yourself the game that you're doing. would help. Strictly my opinion.
You would do subs different in a high school game than you would a USSF game?
Yes, you
Why?
have to.
Well, the drop
Because
ball
in
is
high,
an issue.
in high school, when a sub presents himself to be sub, when you bring him on the field, he becomes a player. He becomes a player on the field, whether or not that other player has left the field or not.
It's not
FIFA, they
true.
want you to.
This substitutions are consistent with USSF and high school.
We'll talk.
Consistency, just keep the players off the field.
what I'm saying.
until the Substitute comes off the field. Don't let him on until the other one comes off. Say it solves a lot of problems, potential problems.
You make that first one or two subs wait for a substitute and they fall into line the rest of the game.
Yep.
Quick question on subs. Both teams are subbing, so the team that doesn't have the ball, they are the last people off the field. So as soon as you beckon that person on, the other team doesn't have to wait for them to get in position. They can throw the ball in right away, correct?
In high school, it's up to you to have a whistle before they start play again.
Absolutely.
I would suggest waiting until that defensive substitution gets in his position.
So
before you restart play.
I agree. You're gonna
game management.
The biggest thing you want to do is they're going to sub is make sure the person is going to be running over there to grab the ball for whatever they're going to do. You know, hey, sir, wait for my whistle. That way everybody knows you've already told him, wait for the whistle before we start. And then be smart about when you start. Make sure they're not going to gain some kind of unfair advantage because they are out of position because you started prematurely.
And the other thing it does, it calms in a particularly difficult game. It can slow the game down and calm it down a little bit too, if you wait. Just wait.
And with that, we'll call it good.
Thank you.